Hi, and welcome to another video on snow measurement. Here we're going to talk about procedural standards. In other words, how do you report snow? And there's a couple of different ways. You can report the depth of snow on the ground, you can report the depth of new snowfall, and then finally you can also report the water equivalent of snow on the ground, or the water equivalent of the snow depth. So the first one we're going to talk about is the snow depth on the ground, and of course this is could be seasonal, but typically in places where it's cold for a long period of time it is seasonal, but other places snow melts and then of course it falls again. So this is the amount of snow that's actually on the ground, and we report it as the 4/ group in the METAR. Looking at this METAR at the bottom of the page, I highlighted in red where you would see the snow depth, and the snow is reported at the 0, 6, 12, and 18 Zulu observations, and it's reported when there is more than a trace of snow on the ground, and they include trace being more than a half an inch or more. You'll see the 4/ group reported in a METAR. If it's less than a half an inch, then it won't be recorded in the METAR. And of course it's reported to the nearest inch, so there's no tenths actually, we round it off to the nearest inch. So in this case, looking at the bottom, it's 4/005, indicates that 5 inches of snow are on the ground. Another report that is made is the depth of the new snowfall. Now this is snow that has fallen in the last 6 hours. It's the 931 group, and it's reported at 0, 6, 12, and 18 Zulu. And anytime snow falls, anytime there's snow coming out of the clouds hitting the ground, that's when we report the depth of new snowfall, how much has fallen. This is made on, of course, the snowboard, and it's measured to the nearest tenth of an inch. After an observation is made at these reporting times, the snowboard will be cleared, and then new accumulation can be measured in the next 6 hours. And finally, the last snow report that's made is the water equivalent of snow on the ground, or snow depth, water equivalent of the snow depth. And this is the 933 group. It's always reported at 18 Zulu. And if we have more than or greater than or equal to 1.5 inches of snow, then it's reported. So it's reported to the nearest tenth of an inch, and this is the snow core measurement. This is where you go out and turn the 8-inch snow can, the overflow can, into the snow, push it down, and then melt the snow that you get from that observation, and then put that into the measuring tube and measure the amount of water equivalent that is in the snow that is on the ground. These are reported, as I said, in METARs, but also if you look at the National Weather Service's CF6, the monthly summaries, these are included in this monthly summaries. Here I have highlighted observations from December 2009. You can see the days, the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. On those days, you can see the amount of snow that fell. On the 23rd, you had 1.1 inch that fell, and that's an accumulation of the 931 groups, in other words, the every 6 hour observations. And then you can see the 24th, 3.1 inches of snow fell, and on the 25th, 5.4, and the 26th, 3.7. And then you can see the water equivalents for each one. If you take the water equivalent and then divide it by the snowfall, you will get the snow density, or conversely, you'll get the snow to water ratio. And then, of course, the column that I highlighted in the box, the one that's farthest to the right, is the depth of snow on the ground. And you can see that you, even though you add the snowfall to the previous snow depth, you don't get a new snowfall that's equivalent. What I mean, for example, is you can see that we had 4 inches of snow on the ground on the 22nd. 23rd, 1 inch fell, 1.1 inches. still the snowfall or snow depth was 4 inches, probably because of melting or compaction or other things. On the 24th, 3.1 inches fell, and of course they did add up to 7, but 5.4 inches fell on the 25th, and that did not push up the snow depth to 12 inches. It only came up to 9 inches. So it's kind of quirky and kind of strange measuring snowfall. It's one of the more unreliable measurements that are made. You can compare those measurements to the measurements that are made out at the Grand Forks Airport for that particular day. So that's all I have for the procedural measurements of snow.